What the fuck? How did... Holy shit, it's a small one though.
Okay, so down. You on me?
Sup guys, widdz here. Thought I would show you my Lone Star build with 3 high-ends. It's a pretty fun build that I thought about some weeks ago, but now I actually managed to build it and test it a little bit. I only tested 1 day really, so I'm gonna need more testing, but I mean I already got the results, so yeah. It's a pretty easy build to farm up, like Lone Star you get from HVT, high ends you can get in Dark Sun, Dragon Nest or anything. Like, it's pretty easy stuff to get, and it's not like my gear is not perfect. So I'm using a Reckless chest with armor and health on kill. I think I have another one with health that I probably would prefer to use. But yeah, I'm using stam and skill power gear mods. And Reckless. This build is all about the base damage, right? Like the free Lone Star gets 1000 more shotgun and LMG damage. And LMGs benefit really good from base damage. I'm just trying to up the base damage as much as I can, because it works really good with the weapons I'm gonna use, which is shotgun and LMG. Like shotguns benefit really good from firearms and like base damage overall, since they have super high base damage, right? And LMGs, as I said, they benefit as well from high base damage because they have a target out of cover damage, the bonus, right? But you could go with Vigorous. Maybe I'm actually gonna do it. I'm probably gonna try, but you could, instead of Reckless, you could go Vigorous, like the overheal chest. And then of course you don't need this high stam. The toughness is bugged, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's bugged. But yeah, you could go overheal chest and take more firearms, like 3,400 firearms, maybe 3,500, and then maybe like 3,500 stam. So maybe I have like 420k toughness or something, 420, and a lot more firearms. That could work as well if you don't want to use Reckless. But I still feel like Reckless is really good if you want to deal a lot of damage. And then we have the mask. The increased damage by 10% for 10 seconds when using a medkit. I have been waiting for so long to use this one, because it synergizes so well with critical save. And critical save is one of my favorite talents. Like, I love that talent. It's one, when you have less than 1 segment and you use a heal, especially medkits, then you get 40% damage resistance. So if you do combine that with this mask, you will get 10% more damage. So you get to 1 segment and then you just pop a medkit, right? So then you will be more tanky, 40% damage raise, more damage, and you can just turn and try to kill them. Firearm skill power, I have a better one. I have a better gear mod here with higher stat, but it's in the stash or another character, so I mean I need to fix that later. But I'm using firearms here just to get the firearm cap. Since I'm using Reckless, I only want to get enough firearms for the talents. I'm going skill power here. You could go crit chance, but for this build I actually want to go skill power, because I'm gonna be using booster shot and the pulse, right? But we'll get into that soon. Knee pad, it's Lone Star. It's not the best. 666 is definitely not the best, right? The skill attribute is off. Crit damage could be higher. I should have farmed more HVTs. But I mean, the purpose of my build is not to show the perfect build, like the min-max. Sure, I'm trying to do that, but the purpose of my videos is to give you guys an idea, right? To give you a good core. And then you could swap like some stats yourself, right? But I just wanna show you basically like what I use. Like, yeah, 3 Lone Star and 3 high-end, like which high-end you could use. So then don't just take the builds and try to copy paste it, because most of the time they works for me, right? Doesn't mean they will work for you. For example, my Deadeye build, it was a super glass cannon. That was the purpose. Like that's how I wanted to do it. I could get more stam and reduce skill power, and it would work much better. I would have way more toughness and I would survive much more, but that wasn't the purpose, like what I wanted to achieve. You can just take the core of the build and mix a bit yourself, just have firearms for the talents, and then go more stam and reduce the skill power a bit if you think it's too squished, right? But yeah, here we have the Lone Star backpack, skill power, firearms. Skill power is always good to get. I mean, this build kind of relies on it. But I mean, I think actually crit hit damage could be really nice here if you want to try to deal as much damage as you can. But I mean, for this build with booster shot and pulse, I mean, I would still go skill power. You get too much skill power. Then we have the gloves. Oh, wait a bit. And yeah, that's the backpack. You could switch a bit though with this build. If you're going max skill power, like I have 33k or something I should have. It's bugging a bit, 32k. And if I change the mode I could get like 33k. So you could go with this backpack, right? The one I used in the Deadeye. You could swap the mask. I feel like the mask is super fun, but you're not gonna use it too much anyway. Like it will be useful, but if you would use a backpack with increased skill power, that would work better most of the times, because yeah, most of the time you're gonna use a pulse when you are full HP, right? So that's something you could switch. Like swap the mask for the backpack. I still think like Reckless or Vigorous Chest is something you need to go. And same with the gloves here, Savage Gloves. They are not the best either. They are pretty good, these though. I mean, the main stat could be higher. LMG, crit hit damage, crit hit chance, first aid, self heal. I have a lot of first aid, self heal. I think I have 2 items with that if I go with the LMG build. So that will help my booster shot a lot. If I however use my shotgun gloves, I have pulse critical hit damage, but they are only 2 of 4. So I lose like 120 stam, right? But these are the gloves I use when I use my shotgun, so. But I really need to get 229. And they have pulse critical hit damage, and that's really good when you, like, I kind of rely a lot on the pulse for this build. Here we have my holster. I think this is like one of the best holsters I've gotten. It's just insane. You want to get as much pulse critical hit damage though on this build, and first aid self heal. I would prioritize pulse critical hit damage though, but it's not the biggest deal. I would prefer getting a high main stat. So this is the stat with the shotgun gloves. It's a bit higher when I use the other gloves though. I'm using... this is the shotgun I got. It's a god roll. Brutal, responsive, deadly. However, I have another one that I'm currently re-rolling, and it have... do it have brutal up here in the first slot, responsive on the second, and on the third I actually have deadly, but I'm trying to roll that away for competent, right? Because with this build you have, like, you can see my base damage here, it's super high because that's what the build does. Since you have 3-piece Lone Star, you will get 1000 more LMG and shotgun damage. And then you add Reckless, that's even more base damage, and then you use the mask and you have like all those base damage increase, and then a strong pulse on that. But yeah, let's check. I guess we could check the stats. They are not too impressive, I guess. But yeah, crit hit chance 22, crit hit damage 148. As I said, I have high skill power, so I rely on my pulse. But I played yesterday and it worked super good anyway, as long as you play smart with it. Of course, the headshot damage is not high since we are not using sentry. 32k skill power. If you would like more, you could use the other backpack, as I said. Armor cap, 116k health. I think that's what you want to see. Shouldn't look too much on that though. Go to abilities. What I usually would run is booster shot if I'm playing in a duo, or if I like, yeah, mainly in a duo. I maybe go overdose because I wanna have triage, right? Depends on what I'm playing against. If they're using a lot of like crowd control, then you probably need to swap to overdose. But I want to get as much bad damage as possible, so I mainly use booster shot, even though I don't have overheal chest. It heals a lot. Like, let's see if we can. Let's see. I'm gonna show you how much it actually heals. Oh, I'm so tanky though. Just kidding, guys. Not tanky. But yeah, look here. So it heals a lot. And of course you can run in and out. Yeah, I'm using a pulse, damage pulse with 84% crit hit damage. That's really strong. But I'm trying to get pulse critical hit damage on every possible gear. That's what I'm trying to improve. Same with self-aid heal. But yeah, into the talents I'm using... Let's see here. Yeah, always critical save. And it's really good, especially for this build it's even better. Since you have the medkit damage buff. 3 arch. 1 is none. Nothing special, and then I use tactical advance. Let's see here. I'm just gonna show you how much everything will do, right? I'm just gonna see like how far can I take. Yeah, stand here, okay. Damage myself so I can use medkit. Okay, I need to check the damage though. What is it? 127, right? Use another one. So I'm gonna start regen soon. You can't do a cover to cover move when you are bleeding. So use medkit, booster, and I have the wrong weapon up. Let's see here. 200k base damage. I remember last time I tried I actually got all the way up to like 230. Which had 200k. And I'm actually using we could check the gun, but yeah, you saw 200k from 127 to 200k. Then I have a really strong pulse as well. It's not good to rely on the pulse, but it works pretty well if you play around it. Crit hit chance headshot damage. I'm actually using crit hit damage instead of weapon damage. I should probably switch though. I mean, when I have pulse up, this is super great. But then again, it's not the biggest difference in damage on the crits. You will crit higher with crit hit damage. But when you don't crit, weapon damage is better for sure. But yeah, probably switching back to weapon damage. Accuracy, hipfire accuracy, really important. The RPK, deadly brutal competent, weapon damage rate of fire. Trying to boost the weapon damage as much as you can. Like this build is all about base damage. Like if you get higher on the LMG, you will have more damage to target out of cover, and it's 26%, so it's really good scaling. Stability, horizontal stability, like you should zoom RPK, you should not use it close combat, that's why we have a shotgun. Critical hit damage, horizontal stability, headshot damage, crit hit chance. You already know that stuff. Yeah. So here you can see me try the Lone Star with only booster shot and pulse. Of course there's more in the mix, but I only try pulse and booster shot, and I hit 20k crits. After that I wanted to try the maximum, like tactical advance with medkit, booster shot, pulse and damage ult. Bam, 27k crit. I didn't one-shot him there, but if you use everything, I mean, that's not gonna happen in most times, but I mean, if you use everything, if I would crit on every bullet, 27k, I would do 216k damage to a player with armor cap and without reckless. He was not using reckless, because the shotgun have 8 pellets, right? So 27 times 8. So 216k damage. So there's no one's gonna survive all that if you would use everything perfect. Even when I only critted 20k or pellet, that's 160,000 damage on an armor capped target. So I mean, even with booster shot and pulse you are gonna want that people. Probably just with the pulse you will want that people with this setup. Then I took on my sentry build. It has more firearms. I used pulse and booster shot and I critted 21. So there's only like, on the first shot it's only 500 damage difference something. You have to remember, if you use tactical advance, this build is gonna benefit more than a sentry build, right? Because you have higher base damage. So yeah, sentry is better, right? But the Lone Star is not too far away, as you can see. And I could even go more firearms and I would deal more damage than the sentry build. But still, Lone Star is gonna be great, and especially, like, you have to remember, on sentry you get headshot damage. So if you're struggling with hitting the head, the Lone Star is gonna do more damage, because the Lone Star build have more base damage, so the non-headshots will do more damage, right? And I noticed that a lot actually. Hope you guys like this Lone Star build, and hopefully we see more people try Lone Star, because it's not as bad as people think. But then the thing with sentry that beats like all the other sets is the tagging, the 4-piece, like 45% more damage to player. Obviously Lone Star can't keep up with that. I mean, most of the time you can one-shot them anyway. You shouldn't really need the marks. Of course it will help a lot in a lot of situations, but yeah, Lone Star is still really viable, I think. You just have to use it right. But I think especially this build, it's pretty good with the shotgun as long as you hit headshot. With sentry it's gonna be easier, because you, like, if you don't hit a clean headshot with sentry, it's not a big deal because you get them stacks up. You don't get that with Lone Star, but when you get a clean hit with Lone Star, it's actually really nice. I was actually impressed by the damage I could do with this build with the RPK.
Damage, bro. Holy shit.
It's super fast rate of fire, but still I was critting like over 20,000, sometimes 25, 27, depending on how long the tactical advance was. If I do a body shot, it will do more damage than sentry, so I think all in all it's a pretty good set. I will make a Lone Star PvP video later. I still need a bit more footage. That's why we don't have any amazing footage in here, because I'm kind of saving that for the PvP video. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you guys.
Can't use the medkit yet. There we go. Got by the shotgun. Yay, yay, yay.